everyone. Thanks for stopping in on another installment of Unbiased Media. I wanted to talk about this story I just heard about, and apparently it happened a few days ago. The story is from Missouri. On July 3rd, there was a 12-year-old street dancer dancing on a corner with some of his friends. He was a white kid, and he was with a group of his black friends. And he was dancing on the street corner. And as he's dancing, a vehicle pulls up on the road, and a grown black man gets out of the car and starts kind of like almost mocking the kid in a way as he walks up behind him. And then as he gets close to the kid, he just sucker punches the kid right in the side of the head and knocked the kid to the ground and gave the kid a concussion. And apparently he was bleeding from his nose and the side of his head. I hadn't heard of this story or anything like that, which is kind of funny because you would think that a grown man punching a 12-year-old kid in the face and having it recorded would be all over the place. But, wasn't really known about unless you researched it. I mean, I feel like I could ask half of the people I know right now and none of them would have known about this. So I started looking more into it, and it's now 10:33 p.m. Eastern time on July 8th. And I see that about 25 minutes ago, this guy apparently just turned himself in. The guy's name was CJ Moore, was the, I guess, culprit in this situation. And I think really it just shows how much of a giant coward this guy is. Not only did the car that was driving him pull up past the kid and him kind of like creep up behind the kid in an odd way, but he sucker punches this young kid that you could tell. I mean, you knew that he was probably around 15 years old, maybe younger. And this guy, and it wasn't like he was just punching him like, not that any punch is, necessarily soft in any way. But, I mean, he gets up behind this kid and, I mean, he throws a haymaker. This kid's lucky that he was able to just get up. I mean, he had a concussion. He was bleeding from his head and from his nose. But, I mean, for how hard he punched this kid, I could easily have seen that kid dying from how hard this guy swung at this kid's head. And I think it just really goes to show how much of a coward this guy is, because he sneaks up behind the kid, punches him in the head, and then he scrambles off to his getaway car, and someone drives him off. And apparently he just turned himself in, I guess, 5 days later. So, and I think he turned himself in because people found out who he was from camera footage, and people found him on Facebook. And this guy apparently has kids, which is another frightening thing. If he is going to punch someone he doesn't know that hard, hopefully he's not doing the same thing to his kids at home. But clearly, it seems like he turned himself in because he was afraid of all these people in the streets possibly finding him first. So, I mean, this guy is just scum of the earth. And hopefully he does some major time for this. But I just thought it was kind of funny how I didn't even hear about this story. Your typical CNN, MSNBC, I didn't see any articles about it. I think TMZ was the one that actually even reported on this thing. I was surprised to see BuzzFeed talk about it, but you didn't see Huffington Post. You didn't see, all these sites that anytime there's white on black crime, it's front and center, days. They just keep posting about the same article or the same story over and over again. But then when it's the other way around, you don't hear anything about it. And that's not to say that, if there's legitimate white on black crime, that shouldn't go unreported. But it should be reported equally on both ways. I mean, this is terrible. You got a grown guy walking up to a kid who's doing nothing. He's dancing on the street corner with some of his friends just hanging out. and some grown dude who has children of his own sneaks up behind this kid and haymakers him in the face. I mean, what a punk. So I wanted to put this out there just because I saw that there was an update to this story, that this guy has turned himself in, his cowardly self. I hope he gets extensive punishment for that. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you even heard about this story. I would venture to say you probably didn't even hear about it. I'll try to find a clip of the video. I'm not going to play it. It's pretty disturbing to watch. It was pretty hard for me to watch myself. Unless it's like the UFC, it's kind of hard for me to watch people just straight out get haymakered in the face, especially when it's a young kid and it's a grown adult and the guy blindsides him. I really didn't want to watch it, but I felt like I had to in order to talk about it, unfortunately. So if I'm able to find the video, I'll put a link in the description below. But thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.